Hi everyone, this is May and today I'm going to give my take on the pronunciation guide in the MXTX novels that have just been released. There's been some online controversy over these pronunciation guides. At the two extreme ends, we have the non-Chinese speakers who are very happy about the pronunciation guide and think that it's going to help them pronounce everything accurately. On the other extreme, there are those who object to it and are really upset. So I'm obviously ethnically Chinese, but I was raised in an English environment. So English is my first language, my primary language. I also studied Mandarin formally in school. I'm not great at it. I do need the translations for the MXTX novels, but I don't need the pronunciation guide. I speak a few other languages. I learned French in my late 20s for work, and when I turned 50, I learned Thai for the hell of it and to do fan subbing. I also speak Singlish, which is our local vernacular, and bits of some Chinese dialects. So what does this have to do with the pronunciation guide? So I'm comfortable with messiness and ambiguity and standing at the crossroads of several languages and cultures. So I'm not here to judge anyone's reaction because that is their individual point of view and it comes from their own lived experience. But I thought I would give my take on it. At the center of this kerfuffle was the Romanized pronunciation guide that the publication provides in the MXTX novels. So Romanized just means that they converted Chinese words into syllables that English speakers would be able to reproduce. Now, this is not a new concept in the slightest, and it is used quite widely in a lot of language guides, but usually of the more casual variety. So after reading various online opinions, to me, I think I would look at two questions. The first is the Romanized guide useful? And number two, is it disrespectful of the Chinese culture? So Romanized pronunciation is a commonly used method to make unfamiliar sounds more accessible to non-native speakers, especially if the original language doesn't use Latin letters. But Romanization is problematic for many languages, especially tonal languages like Chinese or Thai or Vietnamese. At best, it is an approximation of the sounds in that language, but using English orthography or spelling. So this is what I think. I really believe that the translators and the publishers provided the pronunciation guide out of good intention. The predominant target market for these novels are non-Chinese speakers. So it's to help these speakers get the pronunciation right or sort of right. So is it useful? Yes, to some extent. Is it accurate? Hell no. There will always be some ignorant idiots who will make fun of names and cultures that they're not familiar with, and no guide is going to help them. So why get our knickers in a twist over them? I prefer to look at the fans who love the novel, try to pronounce the words, and want to understand some of the culture. But again, we must expect different levels of commitment based on, interest, time, resources. Now, when I hear non-native speakers butcher a language, my reaction really depends on context. And it's not like I've never done it myself. If someone is obviously trying, I cut them a lot of slack. Because if they try and they still get it woefully wrong, that is still far more respectful than someone who has a PhD in the language but continues to hold a lot of prejudice and bias against that language or culture, which does happen. But of course, it really gets my goat if you don't even try. Yeah, I'm looking at you, the content creators, who keep repeating names of characters that you say you love, but you never get it right. And it's not exclusive to Chinese. It's annoying for any language. But also, not everyone wants to be an expert in Chinese. They just want to enjoy the novels and show a decent amount of respect and understanding. They want to say the names right and not get bullied online for getting it wrong. So realistically, we can't really expect everyone who enjoys MXTX novels to learn Hanyu Pinyin or 波泼莫佛. Hanyu Pinyin is the official Romanized form for standard Mandarin, and 波泼莫佛 is the phonetic symbol system used largely for Taiwanese Mandarin. I mean, I never learned Greek to read Greek classics, and I certainly never learned Russian to read the Brothers Karamazov. It's a bit of a high bar to set And I really don't think it is necessary for us to enjoy literature from another culture. So for the non-Chinese speakers who are kind of feeling conflicted over the pronunciation guide, don't throw it away just yet. So my advice is take a break from drooling over Wang Xian and Hua Lian. Use the pronunciation guide along with the donghuas, the audio dramas and the Untamed, and really listen to the words, the sounds, the tones, the cadences that make up the music of the Chinese language. Because pronouncing words is just the tip of the iceberg. You will get so much better when you develop an ear for the language so you can absorb the accents, the tonal changes, pitch contours. The more I practice these sounds, the more my muscles get developed in making the sounds and the more muscle memory I'll develop. So if you want to learn the names and places in 魔道祖师, 天官赐福 and Scum Villains, then practice saying the names and the places out loud. Record yourself and play it back so you can hear whether or not you're getting there. Understanding the language will usually come faster than speaking it because you need to have, sufficient vocabulary and also guts to try it out. And I can't begin to tell you how exciting it is to learn a new language and culture because the two always go hand in hand. It opens up a whole new world. Just develop a thicker skin, ignore all the haters and detractors, and practice, practice, practice. I talk to myself in Thai all the time when I go for walks, and I'm sure I look completely demented, but who cares? Also, you can have the most fantastic fluent conversations with yourself in a foreign language, which at the very least helps you to build up a certain level of confidence. Try to get your sounds right early. And this is maybe my biggest issue with romanization, which is that if you repeat the sound to yourself incorrectly, you will develop that muscle memory and it becomes harder to correct later. So if you are learning Chinese because you were inspired by the MXTX novels, then go for it. Don't get into fights over the pronunciation guide. It's there, it's not going anywhere. And if you use it as a guide to better experience and understand the Chinese language and culture, I think that is enough. So 加油 in your Chinese language journey. More than 1 billion of us speak it. You can too. So if you like my video, please click like and subscribe and leave me a comment if you have an opinion on this subject as well. Till next time, take care and stay safe everyone. Bye.